Hi everyone, Matthew Donovan here. This is the April update of my 2017 resolutions. Not sure if it'll show up on the video, but behind me, on my computer screens, if you go to matthewdonovan.ca/resolutions, I have a list of all my resolutions. That list has been there since the start of the year. I track my resolutions, and I'm also putting links to the updates. I post these videos, and I'm going through, transcribing them, posting them as blog posts. So you can see this year's posts. You can also see the past years. Last year, I decided I was going to write monthly updates after each month. And the year before that, all I did was an end of year sort of wrap up for how my resolutions went. But anyways, that's matthewdonovan.ca/resolutions. If you're interested in seeing more about what my resolutions are, shameless plug, take a look there. So I've got my sticky note here of updates. First thing is languages. In April, I reached 100 days of Czech. There's a 100-day of Czech video already on my YouTube channel, but I'm very excited with my progress. Looking back, at the beginning of January, I didn't know any Czech at all. Now, again, I'm nowhere near fluent, nowhere close to where I would like to be, but I've made lots of progress. I can just rattle off sentences. Jsem student, mám kniha, I have a book, I'm a student. Things like this I have no clue how to say, right? How are you? Jak se máš? What's your name? Jak se jmenujete? Or jak se jmenuješ? How are you called? Things like this I had no clue how to say at the beginning of January. Made lots of progress. The age-old question, or at least it's been a question for 2 months now, is when am I going to stop? What am I going to do going forward? I still think I'm going to continue with Czech, if nothing else, until at least 6 months of the year have gone by, probably until the end of the year. One of the issues I'm finding is I'm very gung-ho. I want to work on new languages, but I need to take the time to improve the languages I'm working on now. I continue to use LingQ. LingQ is now my primary tool. I'm using less of italki. I've been finding, during the month of April, I watched some videos by Dr. Stephen Krashen. He's a professor at a university down in the States. I don't remember exactly where. He focuses on languages. He's been mentioned a lot by Steve Kaufman. You might remember Steve Kaufman is one of the creators and co-founders of LingQ, which is the website I use to learn Czech, the primary site I've been using. Stephen Krashen talks about comprehensible input to learn a language, right? If I want to teach you something in German, it's not enough to say, ich sehe ein Hund, right? But if I have a picture of a dog, I can say, ich sehe ein Hund. And if I point at my eyes, and I point at a dog, now you understand. Ich sehe, I see, ein Hund, a dog. Right? It might be einen Hund, I don't know. I don't focus on grammar, especially at this stage, but apologies to anyone out there. But it's all about comprehensible input. So I've been watching a lot of his videos. One of the things that he says, which I think I believe, I don't know, I have to spend more time thinking about this and maybe more time experiencing it, but speaking is not helpful when learning a language. What I did in my 2 most recent lessons on italki is I have a giant 8.5 by 11 lined sheet of paper, and I write down every single word that I don't know. If I have to look a word up in Translate, I write it down. Now, Jan, the person I'm speaking with, he often uses a lot of words that I don't know. I don't have the ability to write them all down, but a lot of the main words that he uses, the major points in those sentences, I will write those words down. So we've done this for 2 lessons. I have a list. I think this is the best way to learn the words that I actually need to use. It's all about input. And I think that's really what I've been doing when I've been speaking, is it's been all about input, and I learn the words that I need to say. I don't necessarily know if this act of speaking is reinforcing. I think it is reinforcing because I have to use those words, but I find even when I read the lessons on LingQ or I listen to the lessons on LingQ, I'm reinforcing, I'm thinking about that afterwards. I lie in bed at night and I keep going over these sentences in my head, right? Obchodny zastupce is a recent word that I've come across, and it means business representative or salesperson. Obchodny zastupce. Again, pronunciation might not be perfect, but I saw that word and it keeps going over and over again in my head, and I think that is the process by which I'm going to learn this word, not because I have to say it in a speaking conversation. Yes, I'm saying it because it's recall, but starting to digress here, but the important thing is I've been making progress I'm continuing with using Link. Link is the primary tool that I have been using and I will be using going forward. I finally freed up space on my phone. I've been having issues with my phone, but I freed up some space to download the app on my phone, and combined with the fact that now I'm in a school semester, more free time in between classes, I'm excited for where we can go. I think I'll have lots of time to review, go over these short lessons. I think I'll make good progress. April, made pretty good progress. As I said, we had lessons on italki. I reached 100 days, and I continued to do Link. Going forward, lots of Link. I'm dialing back the italki. It's also less of a financial burden, right? The lessons are fairly inexpensive, about $10 an hour, but if I don't necessarily need them, I don't want to pay for them. So that's languages. I've been focusing a lot on Czech. I have been doing a little bit of German on italki, on Link. The italki was a few months ago when I did some German. I'm curious to know, I don't want to overlap languages too much, but we'll see how things go. Reading has been huge. During the month of April, I read every single day. I started about 2 or 3 days before the end of March. I think the 29th of March is when I started. Every single day, I've read at least a chapter. Primarily, it depends on what the books I'm reading. The first book I read was by John Grisham called The Litigators. Good book, I recommend it. I read 2 chapters a day. I don't have the entire time. I think it took me about 2.5 weeks to get through that. Currently, I'm reading The Appeal, also by John Grisham. I'm only reading a chapter a day. It's a little bit bigger print, so the chapters are longer, but there's not as many words in them. I think 2 chapters a day would just be too much, but I am considering upping to 2 chapters a day simply because it's going to take me another 2 weeks to finish this book, and I've already been reading for about 2 weeks. It's important that I read every day. I think it's helpful to read every day, but I need to read more. What I found actually was the last day of The Litigators, I read about 150 pages. I think it was 8 chapters I read on a Saturday. I sat down, I said, I want to finish this book, I want to see how it ends. I might do that for The Appeal, or I'll just start reading 2 chapters a day. Now, I've changed it up. I'm reading fiction instead of nonfiction. And we'll see how this goes, but again, the important thing is to read. I'm in this habit now. Every day before bed, I do my reading. Very excited. Looking at this chart, I thought I'd only picked it up starting in about the first week of April, but I was very pleased to see I've actually read every single day through April, and I'm hoping to keep that up in May. In terms of exercise, this has always been the toughest resolution, but I found since I finished co-op, my last day was on the 21st, I went home for a few days, but since I've come back to Waterloo, I've had a total mindset shift. I went running 3 times, and I've also started to swim at Laurier. You might remember my initial goal was simply to follow the Couch to 5K program for running, but talking with my father when I was at home, there are 3 parts to a triathlon, and if my goal is to take part in one with him, I do need to also focus on swimming, and I need to focus on cycling. So looking forward, I think April was a good month in terms of the end. Right now that co-op is finished, I have a change in my hours, a change in my schedule, a change in my free time. I think I'm off to the right start. The end of April, put in some good effort. I think May will be good going forward. Trying to mix things up, running, swimming, also biking as well, especially if the weather is nicer and it's a shift back at school with more free time. Looking forward to see how that goes, but April ended strongly. Now, 4th resolution is co-op. Co-op is now finished. I'm done co-op for the year. Very pleased with how co-op went. I think it was a very good learning experience for me. I learned a lot about the company, about the culture, where I wanted to work, how these jobs work. I don't know if I've talked about this. This co-op was actually my first real 9-to-5 job. I had done some work in the past, volunteering. I'd also done consulting work for my own clients, but that's largely, I pick when I work on that. I have to call clients to invoice them. I have to take a lot of the initiative with the clients, but working here, I show up at 9, I have tasks to work on, things to do, I work until I get them done, not necessarily always, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock whenever I was going to head out, but it's a different mindset shift for sure, and it was a very good experience for me. I'm happy that I went through it, I'm happy that I finished it. there were 3 other co-op students working on what I was working on, a third-year business student from Laurier, and then 2 other students from Guelph. Glad to have met all of them as well. Hopefully we can stay in touch. They're all great people. I'm glad to have met them. And as well, the supervisors at Adnode, which is where I was working as a data analyst, made connections with them. I'm excited to see what the future holds. Very pleased to have worked there. It was a great company, and I think co-op, the past 4 months have been very good. I would say this is a success in terms of this resolution. I didn't have entirely predefined goals when I started. I wanted to really play it by ear, see how things went. But I think the 4-month experience was very good, and I'm happy now that we're in May, 5 months into the year. I'm happy to be back at school. I think it's a good change, but I learned a lot. I was at a small company. Adnode doesn't have any clients. I think it'll be an interesting opportunity to compare and contrast my co-op experience this past term with my experience in January of next year, and also my 3rd and final co-op. I definitely want to change things up, try different opportunities, try different sized companies, different areas of work. I think that's what co-op's all about. Now, GPA, just getting off to a start on this one. I just had my first day of classes yesterday. It's the 2nd of May as I'm filming this, but this semester is really going to be focused on academics for me. Yes, I've got a lot of other things I want to work on. I still want to work on check. I want to do my running. I want to do my reading. Potentially still get involved if there's opportunities to do so. I do want to stay involved, but above all, I think the biggest priority, if someone says to me, what am I focusing on this semester, it's definitely going to be academics. I need to keep my grades up in order to keep my scholarship, and I think I've got a lot of courses at Waterloo. Those are primarily the math courses. I find those easier to do well in if I put the time in, less subjectivity potentially, as some of the Laurier classes have, but again, that could be a controversial statement, but I'm looking forward to this semester. I think it's going to be a good one. I'm excited. Got lots of things to look forward to. It'll be a shortened semester. There is no reading week. Exams finish by the 2nd week of August. So it'll be interesting to see how the semester goes with the nicer weather. There is also MLSB, which is it's a softball league. Goes on in the community. I'm not taking part in that this year. The times don't really fit into my schedule, and again, I want to make sure I focus on academics. I'll have more of an update for you in a month when I've written some midterms, completed some assignments, and we're a bit further into the semester. But this semester is a huge focus on academics. That's what I'd like to do. Finally, stay involved. It's going to be tough, I think, to stay involved during this semester. One of the things I thought of doing was playing softball in MLSB. But again, it doesn't really fit into my schedule. I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. Staying involved, we'll see how that works. I'm an executive on the emergency response team. My contract started yesterday. I don't know if we'll be doing much during the summer months, but there may be things going on with that. Looking to get involved in other avenues. I have applied for other positions. Interviews will be taking place during this semester, so we'll see how things go. Really, I want to keep my options open. This is my first time at school in the summer. It will really be a different experience. There are a lot fewer people on the Laurier campus. That means more open spots to study, less traffic, less congestion, but it will also mean less ways to get involved. But we'll see how that goes. I don't have much to update right now. It'll be a matter of exploring, seeing what's available during the upcoming month, and I will have an update, a better update, at the end of May. But as always, thanks for watching. I'm just realizing now I'm starting to blink. It was just swimming. It's the chlorine, I think, irritating my eyes. So apologies for that. But as always, thanks for watching the videos. Hope you enjoy them. One of the things I'd recommend for your resolutions, keep a list, write them down. They say that goals that are not written down are just dreams. And I believe in that. That's why I have a section on my website, matthewdonovan.ca/resolutions, dedicated to listing all my resolutions and tracking my progress. Thanks for following along. I'll talk to you in a month with a new update video if I don't post something sooner. Thanks. Bye.